start with the manual muscle testing of shoulder abductors. So let us start with the practicals of the shoulder abduction MMT. In this MMT, we are going to test the two muscles. First is the supraspinatus and the second one, that is the middle fiber of the deltoid. So here, first let us start with the grade 3. So in the grade 3 of the shoulder abduction MMT, position of the subject is in the short sitting position with the arms by the side of the body. Second thing is position of the therapist, that is the standing behind the subject and towards the side to be tested. And here I am going to test the left side of the shoulder abductors. So in the grade 3, the person abducts his arm up to the shoulder level and holds this position without any resistance applied over it. So here we are going to instruct the subject that you move your arm out to the side of your body and bring it up to your shoulder level. Here the therapist with one hand stabilizes the model's shoulder. Now if this range of motion, that is the 90 degree of shoulder abduction, is achieved by the model, then we can grade it as the grade 3 of shoulder abduction MMT. Now comes to the grade 4. Position of the patient and the position of the therapist remains the same. Now in the grade 4, therapist with the one hand, with the one contoured hand, applied mild to moderate resistance over the distal humerus, and a person does the same thing, that is the abduction of the shoulder up to the 90 degree but with the mild to moderate resistance. So now stabilize the shoulder first. Second thing is apply the resistance, which is mild to moderate, and then ask the person that you lift your arm and bring it up to the 90 degrees level. So if this is achieved, we can grade it as the grade 4 shoulder MMT. Now comes the grade 5. Position will be the same, but the amount of resistance which is increased, that is up to the maximum resistance. So here again the therapist with the contoured hand applied the resistance and asked the model that lift your arm and bring it up to the 90 degrees. That if this position is achieved and patient can hold in this position, we can call it as the grade 5 of the shoulder abduction. Now comes for the grade 2, grade 1 and the grade 0. So in the grade 2, we stabilize the shoulder and a person completes partial range of motion, that is this much range of motion that is completed by the subject, that is we can grade it as the grade 2. Alternate positions are also there, that if I tell you that alternate position is in the supine lying position, that in the supine lying position person completes full range of motion, that is in the gravity eliminated plane person completes full range of motion of the shoulder abduction in the supine lying position. But if we are taking in the short sitting position, then the partial range of motion is completed. Now comes for the grade 1. In the grade 1, therapist with the one hand stabilizes the model's shoulder and asks the model that you hold this position for 5 to 7 seconds and the therapist palpates with the another hand just lateral to the acromion process of the scapula. If a contractile activity can be palpated by the therapist, then we can call it as, that is grade 1 of the shoulder abduction MMT. And in the grade 0, there is no contractile activity which is felt by the therapist. Now comes the substitution. So in the substitution, main muscle which is responsible in the substitution, that is the biceps brachii. If the biceps brachii is overactive, then what the person will do? Person will try to externally rotate the arm with the slight elbow flexion and tries to achieve this thing. That tries to complete our test position. So this is completely a substitution which should not be done. So in order to avoid this kind of substitution, so from the beginning, you tell the patient that lift your arm out by the side of your body with the palm facing downward and with the elbow in the slight flexion. So this position, that is the shoulder abduction with slight elbow flexion, so this helps to avoid the substitution by the biceps brachii. Now for the clinical, so in the clinics we are assessing this kind of shoulder MMT or the shoulder muscle strength, but the most commonly injured muscle that is in the shoulder region, that is the supraspinatus. And typically, to identify the supraspinatus weakness or the supraspinatus injury, we need to palpate that muscle. So in order to palpate the supraspinatus, basically it is very deep. It lies deep to the upper fiber of trapezius, right? So it is very much difficult to palpate. But here is one technique by which you can access to that deeper level. So for that, turn the patient's face to the opposite side and try to little bit extend it, and then you go for palpation of the supraspinatus muscle. I'm sure this tip is going to helpful in your clinical examination of the patient. If you are having any doubts in the MMT of shoulder abduction, do let me know in the comment section. If you like the way of presentation, do let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching the video till end. Do like, share and subscribe Manthan Physio Academy. Thank you so much.